SBN, Sports Business Now, live from the National Sports Forum.
Welcome back from live from NSF here. I'm Holly Koski with Byrnes of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Glad you could make it.
Glad to be here. It's 75 degrees in Orlando. What's there to complain about?
I know, considering when we're in Minneapolis and it's minus 15.
Yeah, there's tornado warnings in Oklahoma today, so I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I definitely share that sentiment. And you were just a moderator of the fan engagement panel. Got to sneak in for the last couple minutes. It was really great. Talk to me a little bit about what you guys spoke about.
The topic was about an engaging fan experience, and really what we tried to get at was the various micro targets that exist in your venue, whether it's a stadium, arena, racetrack, horse racing venue, whatever it is. There are many different customer segments that are at play.
Right.
And how are teams and operators now really focused in a way to say, what's customized to that particular customer, right? So the days of one size fits all or one experience, fits all are really behind us. The proliferation of social media and all this great new content that can be delivered to smartphones and tablets and apps and those kind of things have really changed the behavior of the game experience and the live event experience. Our colleagues at the NFL are really worried about the at-home experience might be better than the at-arena experience. And the NBA is thinking about that in great lengths too. So today we had Colin Faulkner from Chicago Cubs and Jeff Moore from the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. And they were here specifically because they sit at opposite ends of the spectrum.
Really do, yeah.
The Chicago Cubs are a 100-year-old brand with great brand equity. Wrigley Field is a bucket list destination for baseball fans. Baseball aficionados go as much as just the one-time, bucket list consumer.
Right.
Jeff was talking about the Formula One experience where there's an international consumer that wants to follow these world-class race drivers. And there's a real novice fan in the United States, and yet that's also an entertainment seeker audience. Austin's a great party town, great music, great live venues, and so they were really trying to tap into that culture. And so we had a great discussion about how two different ends of the spectrum, but both are thinking about micro-targeting their customer bases, thinking about the unique experiences that deliver great value. And there's common denominators there that obviously can inure to anyone's benefit.
Right. And you talked about the whole point of the panel was fan experience, and Oklahoma City Thunder's fan experience, I think, is probably off the charts. I've never had the pleasure of visiting your venue, but just from viewers' perspective on TVs, especially during the playoffs, that place is always electric. What are your strategies behind that?
Well, we take that seriously. It's a great sense of responsibility. We're thrilled when people tell us that they love our game experience and they love to watch the team, and we think that's a reflection of the character of our guys on the floor, and we think it's a great reflection on the marketplace. The NBA has been widely accepted in Oklahoma City. It's become part of the identity of our community.
Right.
And we're tapping into that. We're really looking at the customer segmentation of folks who come to the games for the social experience, come to the game for business-to-business solutions, come to the game because they're civic supporters and they want Oklahoma City to be reflected well. That's why you see everybody wearing blue t-shirts during the playoffs.
Love it.
It doesn't take much to get everybody to put them on.
Yep.
Because there's a sense of awareness. There's a real sense of self-participation in making the Thunder brand as valued as it is and to help promote Oklahoma City at large. We've created a culture where fans are connected to the brand experience. We micro-target every night. We're hosting 8 to 10 different segments of fans in unique experiences. One night might be families with kids of the same age, and we're hosting them in our kids zone, and we're trying to learn about their behavior and learn more about why they connect to the Thunder experience.
Yep.
We might have folks that are of like-minded interest in our hospitality areas, the Jack Daniels Club, by example, trying to deliver customized experiences to like-minded groups. We think over time we'll learn more about their behavior and their attitudes, and of course all that goes into CRM, and we all think about how that data drives our business. We think we build better relationships that way, and we think over time that strengthens our retention and our annual renewal. We think it gives better data to our sponsors who are trying to activate with us and find that brand alignment, and ultimately create a really fun experience. And in some ways we're in the business of delivering happiness, and so if we can do that and also meet business objectives, we think we're on the right path.
And then another key theme of your panel was brand authenticity, which I think is so important and can oftentimes go overlooked.
Sure.
And we also had another super panel this morning on the future of ticketing, and you mentioned that how ticketing and the brand really have been on separate tracks for a while, and now all of a sudden it's merging.
Yeah, it was a key takeaway for me in that discussion was even 5 years ago perhaps, ticketing and marketing and brand values were on different tracks. They were mutually exclusive in some ways.
Right.
The ticket sellers were thinking about selling tickets and meeting objectives and quotas and commissions and trying to sell units in bulk perhaps to meet some business objective. The brand guy was worried about advertising, selling, and developing the brand equity. In fact, they're married. And we're learning more about that in the last few years as the secondary market has really kind of exploded. There's a proliferation of new ways to sell and buy tickets. And what we've seen that there's been some erosion in ticket value as tickets are now widely accessible at various platforms and there's lots of ticket liquidators. And what we've learned is that has some drag on the brand.
Definitely.
And so I think one of the things that came out of today, and I know at the NBA, we're thinking a lot about how to create and protect tools and resources to sell tickets and sell them at a high level and sell them with great frequency, but also be mindful of the brand and be thinking about how what you sell and how you sell is a reflection on who you are. It's a reflection on your brand values and your brand equity. And that's relative to price point, accessibility, point of sale, your interaction with the club. I thought it was a fascinating discussion this morning because you're starting to see more of a kind of a convergence of brand value and ticket access and ticket value that I don't know that I saw 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So it's a rather new paradigm, but I think it's a good one for us to be talking about.
And then talk about the creation of the OKC Thunder brand from, moving from Seattle to Oklahoma City that doesn't really have a huge professional sports atmosphere. Talk a little bit about that process.
One of the things now in retrospect when we think about what we did with the Thunder was we created something that was uniting for everybody in our community. Right? While we're a global brand and we represent what the NBA is about on a global scale, we're also very local. This is about the Oklahoma City and at large the state of Oklahoma. It's the first professional sports team of any permanency, so a huge responsibility for us. The most dominating sports feature in Oklahoma for generations, literally 100 years, college football, right? And so you have the crimson red of Oklahoma and you have the orange and black of Oklahoma State. The state flag and the state color is blue.
Okay.
And so that became kind of a unifying color for us. We chose that very specifically to think about the unification of the community.
That's interesting.
We blended colors like yellows and oranges and dark blues. We thought, in particular, the oranges and the reds were kind of indigenous to the beautiful colors of sunsets in Oklahoma and kind of the red dirt in the atmosphere that creates these beautiful sunset color arrays. All that comes together to create a platform for us that's unique. And what we have found is that there are generations of families that say, at the Thanksgiving dinner, I can't talk to my brother-in-law because he was at one school and I'm at the other. And for the Thunder, they say, it's the one time everybody can come together. That's an aspiration for us in 2008. I don't know if we really believe that was the brand story. But in 2013, we hear that every day. We hear folks that really relate to this as a unifying experience, and that the Thunder has created a sense of engagement, a sense of community value, a sense where people come together and that there's a uniting kind of theme behind being a Thunder fan. And it's great inspiration for us. It drives our thinking, it drives our community platforms, it drives how we think about the brand and the access consumers have to the Thunder. And we think we've got something special in Oklahoma City. Our players and coaches represent that with class every day. We think our fans appreciate that. And so it's a great opportunity for us to continue to build upon something that is off to a great start.
I definitely agree with that. I could pick your brain on the brand and marketing and sales that OKC has done all day, but I'll let you get to lunch. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
SBN, Sports Business Now, live from the National Sports Forum.